CJ Faisong is a YouTuber and explorer known for pushing his luck in places most people actively avoid: haunted mines, forgotten ghost towns, locations with long memories and bad reputations. But this time, he wasn't chasing the paranormal. In October of 2024, CJ decided to try something different, his first solo van camping trip. No friends, no backup, no one to hear him if something went wrong. The place he chose was the Pine Barrens of New Jersey, 1,000,000 acres of dense forest, shallow rivers, and whispered history. Locals don't just call it remote, they call it cursed. Some blame the Jersey Devil. Others claim something far more dangerous lives there: people. And because of New Jersey law, CJ wasn't allowed to carry any weapons. No protection, just himself.
I just pulled up. That's weird. Sounds very hollow.
He arrives just after nightfall, parking far off a sandy trail, deep in the woods. When he steps out of the van, the ground beneath his boots sounds hollow, like something buried below the surface. The noise lingers in his mind, but he ignores it. At first, the night feels normal. Camp goes up, cameras roll. CJ even jokes to his audience about how peaceful everything seems. But in the Pine Barrens, calm never lasts long.
All right, let me tell y'all, some things are getting a little weird. I feel very nervous because this, like, completely solo. You're in the middle of the woods. I only. Widener. I'm not really sure what Widener means. I'm gonna get my stuff. I'm gonna go on a little bike ride here, and we're gonna go explore around together.
When he returns from a short bike ride, something is wrong.
Those two logs are knocked over. The two logs are actually knocked over. I know for a fact that one was standing up, and I know that I'm 99% sure that one was standing up too.
Two thick logs he had stood upright earlier are now lying flat on the ground, knocked over cleanly. No wind, no animal tracks, no explanation. CJ tries to reason it away, but the unease sticks. He locks himself inside the van and keeps filming. Then the noises begin. Strange sounds drift in from outside the van, unidentifiable, too close. Then a dim red light flickers at the edge of camp. A flashlight, one he doesn't recognize. It blinks faintly from the brush. When CJ approaches and inspects it, his confusion deepens. The power switch is still in the off position.
Hello? Come on. That's somebody's flashlight. Hello? Somebody's out here. Obviously. A damn flashlight doesn't fall clean out of the sky.
Somehow, it turned itself on. As he turns and runs back toward the van, something else happens. An unexpected stride kicks in. His pace changes. His breathing spikes.
Whoa! No. You mother... I'll fucking beat your ass with this flashlight if I find you.
It's clear that someone is messing with him.
All right, come the f*** on. Who's out here? Who's out here? I'm 9,000% sure that light was not on. 9,000%.
Moments later, an exterior light source flips on by itself. CJ stumbles backward, heart racing as shadows twist and stretch around him. Whatever is out there isn't hiding anymore. It's interacting. His cameras begin failing one by one. Batteries drain rapidly. Overheating warnings flash across screens despite the cool night air. And then it comes, a single heavy bang from somewhere near the riverbank.
No way. Hello? Listen, dude. Listen. If you're with me, just come out and say it.
The sound is deliberate, powerful, close enough to lock his body in place. CJ calls out into the darkness. No response, only silence. When he rushes to check the nearby toilet building, there's nothing there. No movement, no explanation.
I'm 9,000% sure that boom or bang came from that right there. 100% came from that right there.
With no answers and no control left, CJ barricades himself inside the van for the night. No more exploring. Just the low hum of the Starlink antenna and the unbearable feeling that something is still watching from the trees.
No one tried to break in the van that I know of, at least. I think when I fell asleep, I was just like, ow. I enjoy the van camping thing. I felt way safer than when I'm like camping in a tent, that's for sure.
Morning arrives quietly, too quietly. His bike remains untouched. The van is unharmed. The forest looks exactly the same as before, and yet nothing feels right. The Pine Barrens have gone silent again, because whatever was out there that night didn't need to reveal itself. It had already made one thing clear. CJ was never alone. In this encounter, we follow the creator behind the channel, The Abandoned Camper, as she attempts a stealth camp inside an abandoned cemetery dating back to the 1800s. It's July 15th, 2022. The video begins quietly enough. She slips through dense bushes bordering the graveyard, finds a concealed clearing, and starts unpacking her camping gear. For a moment, everything feels controlled, routine, almost peaceful. Once her camp is set, she decides to explore further, stepping deeper into the cemetery itself. Rows of aging gravestones loom in the darkness, their inscriptions worn smooth by time. As she films, the air begins to feel heavier. Then she hears it, unsettling sounds echoing from multiple directions. Footsteps, movement, no clear source. The realization that she might not be alone tightens in her chest. She had believed the cemetery was empty. That belief shatters as she notices a group of kids standing in the distance. They're far enough away to remain indistinct, but close enough to notice her presence. She tries to dismiss it, telling herself they're just kids messing around, but the unease refuses to fade.
Okay, so that dog kind of ruined it. Not ruined it, I shouldn't say that. The dog barking, I didn't want to disturb anybody, especially since I'm not supposed to be here. So I think I'll finish my exploring tomorrow morning. And because there seems to be still a lot of stuff here. See? Hear them? I think they know I'm here. That's not good.
Then the screams start. They grow louder, closer. The thought that someone now knows exactly where she is makes her stomach drop. She keeps the camera rolling, documenting every step while repeatedly glancing behind her, checking the shadows to make sure no one is following her back to camp.
I'm gonna keep this recording, just in case. But I'm also gonna stop and find out what they're doing, if they're actually watching me or not. Oh, I can see them. I just don't want them to see where I'm going.
But reaching the campsite doesn't bring relief. It makes things worse. As she lights her fire to cook, the glow instantly exposes her position, and almost immediately she hears it. Voices, footsteps, people walking and talking behind her in the forest, close enough to hear clearly, close enough to know she's no longer hidden.
I just had to put out the fire because there are people walking around back here. They don't have headlamps on, but like I said in my last video, I do not like being around people in the middle of a forest, especially when it's dark out. So I might pack up and get out of here.
She doesn't hesitate. She packs up fast, extinguishes the fire, and slips out of the cemetery as quietly as possible, careful not to draw any more attention to herself. Somehow, she makes it out without being harmed, but the thought lingers. What if she had stayed the entire night? The YouTube channel, Keeping at Wheel 306, is known for its raw, unfiltered look at solo van life. Not the curated freedom people imagine, but the reality. Beautiful, isolating, and sometimes terrifying. In a recently uploaded video, that reality turns into something far more vulnerable. Just after midnight, the creator, who lives full-time in a van and uses a wheelchair, is ripped out of sleep by a violent impact, slamming into the front of her vehicle. What followed would become one of the most frightening nights she has experienced in 4 years of van life. She had fallen asleep around 11 p.m., parked on public crown land near a river. The day had been quiet, no people, no passing vehicles. The night before had been calm, nothing to suggest danger. And then, without warning, something crashed into the van.
So it's just after midnight. I'm in my camper van, and I just had the biggest fright I've had in 4 years of van life. I'd gone to sleep around 11 o'clock. And I hadn't really fallen into deep sleep, and I heard this bang on the front of my vehicle, and then I could feel that my vehicle was being pushed, and I am just camping out on crown land right along a river. There's farmland nearby, but I haven't seen anybody all day. I was also here yesterday and last night. And immediately I just saw it, like, it's a Friday night. There's another vehicle had pulled in or something, and, you know, people were messing around, or maybe they thought the camper van was abandoned and were trying to break in or do something. But yeah, I heard this bang on my front end, and my van was being pushed. Like, I thought maybe then a bunch of people were just messing around, some teenagers or something, and rocking my van. So I yelled, "What are you doing?" Like, actually I said, "What the F are you doing?" Just to let them know there's somebody in the van. And then I didn't hear any, voices or anything. Didn't hear any footsteps, which was weird. But immediately, I was jolted awake. And then I didn't hear anything. And then all of a sudden, right at my back window, like right up here, I heard something too. Like, it was, swiping my vehicle or something.
Her first thought was human. Someone pulling in, someone messing around, someone trying to break in. From inside the darkened van, she shouted a warning, letting whoever was out there know they were not alone. The response was silence. Just as her breathing began to slow, another heavy thud struck the vehicle.
Then I heard like another, it just hit to my vehicle. And so I put the window covering back up, and I beeped my key fob, so I make like a little beep beep to, I don't know, just let them know there was somebody in here. And again, I heard another like hit. And so then I just started my vehicle. I put my Ford app on my phone. I started my vehicle. And I think that scared whatever was away. Had my phone ready to call 911. And then I jumped. Well, I wouldn't say jumped, but I got back into my wheelchair from my bed as quickly as possible. I still didn't have any lights on. And I went to the front of my vehicle, I went to the curtain that divides my driver's area from the living area. And I opened it up and I looked out the front of my van and I didn't see any vehicles there. Like, that was the only spot that a vehicle could be there. My eyes adjusted sort of to the darkness and I looked outside. I didn't see anybody. I'm going to try to go back to sleep. I'm a little nervous, but now I'm hearing every single sound and it's freaking me out. But I'm going to try to get back to sleep, and then in the morning just go outside and survey around my vehicle. Check out the front end of my vehicle and see if there's any damage. Whew. Definitely not something I've ever experienced before in 4 years of van life. But I'm going to try and get to sleep. I'll check with you in the morning and we're going to scope out what's going on outside my van.
Then she heard it, something dragging, swiping along the side of the van. Still unable to see anything outside, she hit the key fob, setting off the alarm, hoping the noise would scare it away. She remotely started the engine using her phone, another signal that the van was occupied. Her mind raced. She seriously considered calling 911, phone ready, keys in hand. She began preparing to move from her bed into her wheelchair, a slow, physically demanding process made harder by paralysis. Every second stretched. Her heart pounded, but she stayed focused, forcing herself to think clearly while the unknown lingered just feet away. When she finally reached the front of the van and looked out through the windshield, bracing herself to see headlights or figures in the dark, there was nothing, darkness. That's when the fear shifted. Maybe it hadn't been human at all. The next morning would confirm it.
It started to sink in that it probably wasn't humans trying to get me, and it was probably an animal trying to get into my van. And now that I look around, yeah, there's definitely evidence that an animal was trying to break into my van. And I'm guessing it was a bear by the evidence left that I found this morning. Just right here. And you can see like a dirt paw right on my window there. I'm trying to look on the actual dirt. I imagine once I go out there, I'm going to see more evidence, but that was not there yesterday. Definitely not. So there's some more paw prints here on this window. On that window, it's hard to see, but then also my mirror got pushed in. And the scuffle this bear had with my vehicle, but I am very curious to get outside and see what all is out there. Once I realized it wasn't a human trying to get into my van, I was just completely calm. I think what's that trend going around that, you know, a woman in the forest would choose a bear over a human to run into, and yeah, for me, I think that's definitely what I would choose too, because bears are more predictable in a way. You know their intentions, whereas humans, you don't know their intentions. They're definitely not as predictable. You don't know what they're coming for if they do encounter you.
As soon as she stepped outside, the evidence was undeniable. Smudges and dirt streaked across the windows, clear paw prints pressed against the glass. Her side mirror was bent inward. Mud was smeared along the body of the van. It was a bear. What had slammed into her vehicle, what had dragged along its side, what had shaken her awake in the dead of night. Not a person, not an intruder, a wild animal, likely drawn by scent or curiosity. Strangely, the realization brought relief. As she explains, she would rather face a bear than another human alone in the woods.
I'd be curious to know how much time passed from the time, like, I heard that first bang and woke up to the time where, okay, it's a bear, you're safe, it's not likely to get into the van. How that transpired, I would say maybe only 3 or 4 minutes. Probably a bit longer than the average person because I'm not as mobile and I had to get back into my wheelchair, but I don't think it was that long. But boy, did my adrenaline get going, just trying to have calm thought process. Definitely a unique night. So I'm guessing this is what attracted the bear. Yesterday I made a slow cooker meal and it was cold and windy all day, and so this was cooking in my van. I didn't have the doors open. I didn't even have the vent going. But I made like a sausage with peppers and onions and then added pasta. And so that was just cooking and festering in my van for a good 6 hours. And I can still smell it today, like this morning. It's just lingering in here. So I think that scent is probably what, you know, attracted the bear and brought him to my lovely home. And he thought he was going to get a nice midnight snack. So I'm going to take this as a learning experience, a reminder to stay alert and not get too complacent on the road. And so what better time now than to try to figure out a bit of a jerry-rigged security system. So I do have my dash cam here. And when I first had it, I didn't want to have to hardwire it to my vehicle or my camper batteries. But now I have a Blue Eddy portable power station that actually I think is going to be the perfect solution.
Despite the terror of the encounter, she remained calm throughout. She also recalled hearing a dog barking in the distance just before falling asleep, the only sound breaking the silence that night. And even more unsettling, she heard the same dog again shortly after the incident, suggesting the bear had likely come from that direction and returned the same way. What began as a sudden, violent awakening turned out to be a very real encounter with something wild, powerful, and unseen in the darkness. So, what do you make of this encounter? Let me know. And that brings tonight's video to an end. If these encounters prove anything, it's that stealth camping isn't just about staying hidden, it's about staying aware. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and check the cards on screen for more disturbing encounters caught on camera.